All right, now moving on to our white belt kicks. And to start off, we're gonna actually start on the ground. We're gonna take away balance, we're gonna work on just mechanics. So I'm gonna turn to the side to help you notice exactly what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna put my hands on the ground. I'm gonna lift one leg up, pull that knee in, and at the same time, I'm trying to pull back these toes because I'm gonna be doing a front kick, so I'm gonna try to hit with the ball of my foot. Later on, I'll turn and I'll transition and show you right at the camera. But this knee is very important. So it's like I'm lifting my knee up off the ground straight. On the ground, it's a little bit different when we're sitting, but when we're standing, I'm trying to bring that knee straight up as high as I can. So I'm gonna pull this knee in, pull my toes back, push the ball of my foot forward by pushing with my big muscle in my leg. Then I retract and set it back down. Same thing with the other leg, pull it in, kick it out, pull it back, set it down. I want to start on the ground first. This is the easiest way to do it. And when you get really good at putting your hands behind you and doing this front kick, you can also start working on it to work on your core, doing it with your guard up. And then if you really want to challenge yourself, you can kick one, kick two, kick three, and just keep switching while trying to hold yourself up. Now I'm going to do it towards the camera. So knee comes up, I kick straight out with the ball of my foot, pull it back, set it down. Other side, knee up, pull it back with the ball of my foot, or my toes back, and hit with the ball of my foot. Pull my knee back and set it back down. Now we go from standing. Guard comes up, knee, just like I was talking about before, is going to drive straight up. Now, at the same time, common problems with this technique is somebody's pointing their toes to the ground. When I lift, my toes lift. Boom, they lift up, I kick out, pull back, set down. Same thing with the other leg, lift, toes are already pulled, kick out, pull back, set down. To the side, lift, kick, pull back, set down. Lift, kick, pull back, set down. Now you'll hear the instructors talking about chambering and re-chambering. Chamber is just the start of the kick. Then we kick. Re-chamber is the end of the kick. We pull it back. And we want this position to be the same, starting and ending, and then you relax that leg. Our next kick is going to be our side kick. So again, just like our front kick, we're going to go down to the floor, and we're going to be sitting down. I'm going to put one leg, so both legs are going straight in one direction. My arm is going to go behind me, and I'm trying to get everything in one straight line, from head all the way to toes. Now, already engage your toes, pull them back. Now drive that knee and try to pull it into your chest. From here, I want shoulder, hip, and heel all in one straight line. So if you want, you can stick out that hand, or you can put it in guard position. I'm going to kick out by pushing my leg all the way forward, hitting with that heel, pulling it back. Then you can set it down if you want, or you can do multiple kicks from here. But remember, shoulder, hip, and heel are in one straight line when I'm chambering. Boom. And then my heel is still in that same line where it started when I execute the kick. And then re-chamber. Same thing, other leg. So I have my arm, trying to get everything in one straight line. Pull that heel in, and I have my shoulder, my hip, and my heel. Then I kick, side kick. Pulling back, trying to hit with the heel of my foot, side kick. Not the ball of my foot anymore. Common issues that we have with this is you start out, great chamber for the side kick, but then you use the bottom half of your leg, and it comes out like a round kick. Or you start to push with your big part of your leg, and then it comes out, and you do like a round kick at the very end, okay? So it's like a hybrid kick, where it's a half side, half front, half round, half side. We want to make sure that we're just pushing with the big part of our leg. So if you have to, you can take your leg or your hand and push your leg out, making sure that you're using this big muscle, and then pull it back in. Another modification is I can really focus on my chamber and try to gain flexibility here too. Grabbing my heel, pulling it back, and then letting it fire out with just the heel of my foot. Now I'm going to show it towards the camera. So we're here, grabbing my heel, kicking straight out, pulling it straight back, and pulling in that heel. Now the other side, pulling that heel in, kicking it out, pulling it back. Now we're going to go from standing. So I'm just going to be facing sideways. Guard's going to be up. Big thing when you're standing is you must turn your base foot, the one that you're going to stand on, away from the way you're going to kick. That's called a pivot. Here in a second, when I turn sideways and do the kicks to the side, you'll be able to tell where that foot is going. Guard comes up. I have one hand on this side of my foot and one hand on this side of my foot. I'm trying to kick straight through the middle of my hands. So my guard is up. I'm transferring my weight to my back leg, pulling in, kicking out, and pulling it back in. So side kick, in, out, back in, setting it down. Same thing other side, pivot, guard up, transfer that weight, bring that leg in, pull it back down. Side kick. Now, to the side, showing you that pivot. Turning that base foot away from the way I want to kick. I'm going to aim my guard where I want to kick, bringing it up, doing my side kick. Bringing it up, doing my side kick. Same thing other side, pivot that base foot. When you get better at this and more advanced, you can pivot as you're kicking. Right now, just turning that foot, doing your side kick beforehand is okay. Pivot, side kick. All right, our last kick is going to be our outside crescent kick. Again, we're going to start on the ground. This time, I'm just going to stay facing forward. Hands are going to be behind me. I'm going to take my leg all the way to the other side and cross it over my other leg. I'm going to make a big circle and land on the opposite side. So with the outside crescent kick, we're going to be hitting with the blade of my foot, but try not to hit with that pinky. It hurts. Especially when you're trying to go really high, sometimes you hit the target, but you hit it with your pinky, so that's actually the wrong part of your foot to hit with. Yeah, you might have touched the target, but you could do more damage to yourself. So you're really trying to focus down by your heel, but still on that blade side. Again, we're going to cross our leg over, bring our toes up, and all the way over, hitting with the blade of my foot down by my heel. Now, if you want to challenge, and you're getting really good at crossing that leg, bringing it over, now we do it without putting this foot and touching the ground beforehand. So I go right by my other foot, then do a big circle and land on the other side. Same thing with the other foot. I go right by my other foot and do a big circle. And what that looks like standing, I go from here, we can start cross, outside crescent kick, cross, outside crescent kick. As I get more advanced, you're going to notice just using my hips versus crossing my leg. The whole crossing my leg is to get my hips to turn and activate. Most beginners forget to use this and they're all about using their feet. So I'm going to turn and try to just turn my belt knot off center and take that leg up, big circle, and bring it back. So I'm doing this motion. I'm using those hips, turning it one way, and then as I kick, bringing it back the other way. Same thing, other side, turn, outside crescent kick. A little bit faster this time. Outside crescent kick, outside crescent kick. Practice that on your own. All right, now to cover the number 1, number 2, and number 3 front kick. So number 1 front kick, if I'm in a sparring stance, it's just my lead leg, that front leg, the one closest to my target or my opponent, and I'm just gonna lift it up and do that front kick. Our number 2 is our back leg, so the one furthest away. I'm going to turn my body and then throw out that front kick. Now, my number 3 kick is I'm combining both of my legs. They both have to do something. So my back leg is going to actually step to my front leg. From there, once I step, then my front leg can do that front kick. That's the cover distance. Next is our side kick. Number 1 side kick is our lead leg, that front leg. So we're going to turn, make sure we have our pivot. Guard is up, side kick, land right back down. Number 2 is our back leg. Now, a lot of things or issues with this is we bring our knees way over here, or I bring my leg and it's way still out wide, but it's a little bit closer. But really what I want to do is almost skim right by my lead leg. And I'm gonna go up on the ball of my foot when I do this and take that back leg, turn, number 2 side kick. Now, our number 3 side kick, we also call this like a step behind side kick, and that's what I really want you to focus on, is making sure your back foot steps behind your front foot, then you kick. Common issues is somebody steps on the inside. Well, now what's happening is my hips are fighting to get this foot over to get to a side kick. If I step behind, all I have to do with my back foot is I already have it pivoted and I'm ready to side kick. So when I step behind, that foot's turned away from me, lift up, side kick, number 3 side kick. So that is the difference between our number 1, number 2, and number 3 kicks. We can also do this with our outside pressing kick. So again, I'm in my sparring stance, front leg comes up, outside pressing kick with that number 1 leg or that lead leg. Number 2 is my back leg, so I'm bringing it. I'm going to really turn my hips to the other side, outside pressing kick. I can bring it in back, or I could go outside pressing kick and go forward with it as well. Same thing here now for my number 3, but instead of stepping behind, I'm just going to step together. Step together, outside pressing kick. And now we're using that front leg again, but I need to move my back leg first. So that's my number 1, my number 2, and my number 3 for my front kick, my side kick, and my outside pressing kick. And that concludes our kicking techniques.